They are literally making mountains out of molehills, and that is one way to describe the mainstream media's treatment of one of the most prominent, if not the most prominent person online, PewDiePie. I just searched his name. Obviously, a lot of people are also talking about him just surpassing 90 million YouTube subscribers, beating out T-Series that beat him yesterday. But a lot of the discussion in the mainstream media circles has been him supposedly being alt-right, as we have an article here by the Daily Dot to highlight, to talk about, and to disseminate just the lunacy of it and insanity of it with their headline, quote, PewDiePie's alt-right ties are impossible to ignore by Anna Maria Ward. I'm going to look her up on Twitter later just to continue this discussion. But obviously, just a few days ago, we had very horrible, horrific events in New Zealand where the shooter pretty much orchestrated this event to be as viral as possible. And to do that, in the beginning of the video that he shot, he said, subscribe to PewDiePie. And again, it's PewDiePie, most subscribed. I would say he's one of the most, if not the most famous people in the world, especially with how many people are paying attention to him. And he has garnered a lot of attention. And of course, this has given a lot of criticism to PewDiePie. But I believe a lot of the criticism is definitely unwarranted and is just absolutely insane. Jason, you don't know much about PewDiePie, do you? But what's your assessment on this? I mean, there's even a New York Times article from February of last year, 2 years ago, talking about how he's a monster. And this has been obviously a reoccurring trend for a long time, to say the least.
Yeah, don't know much about the guy. Never seen a full video. Only seen clips. Only became aware of him because of the South Park episode like 5 or 6 years ago where Ike was obsessed with him. Really don't pay attention to him. Don't understand why he's a political mover and shaker. Have tried to get through a video, and it seems very schizophrenic to me. I'm not trying to crap on the guy, by the way. He has a massive audience. People seem to enjoy it. From what I've seen from other coverage, he has done and said some questionable things. But haven't we all, especially if we put ourselves in the public arena? And from what I've seen, Luke, it's not like this guy is putting himself out there politically or doing videos like you and I talking about social issues. He's mostly like a gamer and a memer.
Yeah, he's not political at all. That's the whole funny part about, that's the insane part about this. This is how insane people are making everything political, because again, he literally is just reviewing, looking at memes, trying not to laugh at them, and playing video games or creating video games. That's all he does. But now he's some kind of nefarious alt-right figure. I mean, this has been done for a while. And again, I believe this is being done because obviously PewDiePie is showing something, showing a very disturbing truth that is disturbing to the establishment, because he's showing how one guy with a goofy chair, goofy headphones, literally just doing nothing, just literally doing nothing, just playing video games, could dominate and destroy the entire entertainment industry, and completely flips the money game around in the industry, showing that anyone could do this, beating them out in many key demographics by huge numbers. How many people pay attention to PewDiePie? How many people watch television shows? PewDiePie dominates it all the time. And that's why this article is just absolutely crazy. I mean, holy cow. They're talking about him being alt-right because he collaborated with Ben Shapiro, who hosted a meme review aspect of his show, talking about how there's anti-Semitic tropes associated to Ben Shapiro. I mean, come on now. Ben Shapiro is one of the most pro-Jewish, pro-Zionist voices out there, and this is just absolutely insane. Talking about how he championed Jordan Peterson because PewDiePie actually read and reviewed Jordan Peterson's book. Again, he didn't champion, he read it and reviewed it and gave it an honest point of view. And Jordan Peterson, again, also just another middle-of-the-road guy, pretty much says, wash your balls, clean your bed. And again, also pushed into this discourse by, of course, this just insanity, this lack of critical thinking at all. They talk about his references to him, quote, being a blue-eyed white dragon in a diss track that he did against T-Series, and then being Dark Magicians, totally getting everything wrong, absolutely just insinuating with no factual basis at all. And then they went after the people he supposedly associates with, the people who he follows, and even highlighted in a screenshot supposed controversial figures. Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, all the way. By the way, these are people that the alt-right absolutely hates and has been fighting against. They're talking about JonTron. I know JonTron. I hung out with him a couple times. He's not an alt-right crazy person. Again, just pushing it as much as they can. They even have leftist figures, a part of the people who PewDiePie followed. But even through this, PewDiePie has even responded. If you go to PewDiePie's actual Twitter account, he's following only one person right now. I'm clicking on it right now, and he's following, I don't know, some, it looks like some K-pop group right now, and no one else because of the criticism that he has garnered. A whole lot of criticism that is being targeted at him, I believe, Jason, because the entertainment, mainstream media, big money industry, they're jealous that he's dominating them, and he's dominating them with very little effort, to say the least, with just him literally talking to a camera, being more popular than they are.
Well, they certainly do like to control the narrative, and of course it's going to threaten them when they're putting in tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and sometimes billions of dollars behind networks to produce content that you're supposed to just absorb, love, and rejoice. And when you have somebody who's spending nothing on content, and I don't want to say nothing, he's spending his time, but you know, he's put some production value in there, but he literally started out as a guy sitting in front of his game, gaming away, okay? Very little budget. He's got to be, I mean, I don't even want to speculate how much money he has, but knowing how YouTube works, there's no way that the man hasn't made over $100 million on YouTube. That's how many videos he's put out. That's how popular they are. He's an extremely rich person. And remember, these people are in the business of not only producing this content, but then getting advertisers to then, you know, give them money, put product placement, do this. And PewDiePie is putting product placement for people they don't like Jordan Peterson. But you know what, Luke? It's not like they're restricting his ad revenue. It's not like they're not putting ads on his videos. Of course they are. They'll use him to a point because they have to. They'd much rather produce their own PewDiePie that can just regurgitate that mainstream leftist social justice warrior crap that the establishment eats up.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to bring up that it's important to note here that YouTube has been sort of disassociating, sort of not mentioning many times PewDiePie, trying to kind of ignore him, because if you look at, there's been a number of instances that PewDiePie even highlighted, being like, hey, I'm here, I exist, guys, and YouTube kind of acts like he doesn't, because again, the mainstream media is pushing YouTube, manipulates YouTube, and YouTube is coerced and is acting either willingly or unwillingly, but still acting towards the benefit of these big money interests that, of course, are threatened by this. Because also, people have to understand here, there's a huge political power here. If PewDiePie decides to get political, which he hasn't, he mainly responded to a lot of the asinine attacks. He responded by being unfairly targeted. Again, and even with this latest example, what are they doing here? They're stretching, right? They're, of course, pulling at the strings here. They're saying guilty by association, not talking about how he also follows leftist figures, far left figures, expressed left ideologies before. They're not talking about that. They're being disingenuous. They're being dishonest. And the people on the internet are seeing that, because there's no special interest. There's no big gang here controlling us, telling us, hey, you're going to be talking about this, or you're going to be talking about that, and nothing else. On the internet, it's the Wild West. We have a right to express ourselves. But again, it's being constricted by, of course, the mainstream media, and them screaming like little children belligerently about things that aren't even true. And that's why I think this is an important story to bring up, because it shows you the temperament, it shows you the environment that we are in, how hostile it is, and just how scared they are, and how absolutely full of crap they are, that they now have to try to link PewDiePie to the alt-right of all associations, which is absolutely not true at all.
Well, again, Luke, I haven't followed it enough to make a decision on who or what he is, but he doesn't seem like a political guy. It seems that they desperately want to associate him with politics to demonize him because he's out of their control.
And again, the more they attack him, the more he gets political. They're pushing him towards inevitable kind of revolt against him. And if PewDiePie decides to maybe change platforms, maybe even decide to get political, which people have been kind of talking about and hinting at, trying to, again, push him like, hey, you should maybe get off of YouTube since they really don't want you around, since they've been attacking you. He has so much power. He could change the game. And I think the establishment realizing that he could change the game in a snap of a finger, just like Thanos, he could change the game for everyone with just one decision. That is absolutely terrifying for them. And I think that's why we're seeing so many just blatant attacks on the Pewds. And again, I don't even really follow him at all. Like some of the videos are entertaining, but again, I just this is where we are in our national discourse, where PewDiePie is now alt-right. Absolute insanity. That's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We want to thank everyone for allowing us to exist without you sharing, because the algorithm sure won't be favorable to us. Without you donating, without you commenting, without you engaging, we wouldn't be here, and we only are because of you. And that's why I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.